Hello, guys and girls. Welcome to kw807, the live recording of the Nightwise.com podcast, episode 7 of season 8. Welcome to the recording of YouTube DL. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the website with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. If you don't know who we are or what we do, we are, as I said, a website with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks, for people who love to switch operating systems and jump from Windows to Mac to Linux to iOS to Android and perhaps even over to Sun Solaris for whoever still uses that. My name is Nightwise. I'll be your host today. I'll be recording the podcast here live. This will be a raw recording, so you will basically see how the show is made. I will record the show. Afterwards, the show gets edited down and distributed via an RSS feed, so you can download it as a podcast. You can do that by going to our website and going to the subscribe link, or just hitting www.nightwise.com. That's KNIGHTWISE.com/subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, and that way you will get the show automatically delivered to your favorite podcatcher with all the edits and the music and whatever have you all tucked in. So that's a good thing. We are going to start recording, and you can follow along because we're going to talk about some geeky topics today. Always nice to do this on YouTube. It's like the third show in a row that I'm recording live, and it's always nice to do that for an audience, and the audience also enjoys watching a little bit of the behind the scenes, how Nightwise.com podcasts are made. And I can tell you they are made with quite a few bloopers and retries and borky things, so you don't get the edited stuff that the people in the RSS feed get. But hey, that's what live that's what's live all about. Well, this isn't really live, this goes up to YouTube and you can watch it, but we don't edit this. This is raw. If something breaks, it breaks. If my shelf with starships falls down, it falls down. And if I burp accidentally after drinking soda during the podcast, you'll probably hear that too. I have warned you. So how's it going to go? I have my show notes over here. I'll show you. Let me see if I can show you my show notes. There they are. Those are my show notes. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to record the podcast in different sections. As you can see, there are nice squiggly lines all over the place, and those squiggly lines are there to give me an indication of when I should switch topics. See, I told you, you'll get all the burps and the coughs and the and the things, but you wanted to watch it live, so I hope I don't spill soda over myself. By the way, great trick if you ever have guests over. Read this on I don't know, Reddit or something. Try making ice cubes with Mentos in them, and then dropping them in the soda of your friends when they come over. It's like a soda time bomb. Very nice. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, okay. So I record in Audacity, and then I edit it together, put music in it, do actually all of that in open source software. I was asked, what do you record on? You'll see today I record on a MacBook Pro. You might even hear it in the background. It's really blowing quite a bit of wind through its fans, and that is something that always happens when you do a hangout on air, which is weird, but it has to work quite a bit to get this done. So Audacity, got Audacity open. Let's start with chapter 1, shall we? Okay, ready, guys? Here we go. Breathing exercise. I always do that. And if you do that a couple of times, you can go really low. And if you don't, you don't. Breathing is very important. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, bells on the background outside are ringing like crazy. Now we got a church nearby, and they ring the bells all the time, and long, like for long. And a lot of old people go to church, so I guess they do that because the old people are kind of deaf, and they don't hear it. So yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to close the door. Hold on. Okay. Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Here we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. My name is Nightwise, and for the coming 60 minutes or so, I'll be your host on this episode of the Nightwise.com podcast, kw807 YouTube DL. For more information and the show notes, head on over to the website www.nightwise.com, KNIGHTWISE.com. That's the address where you want to go to when you want to see what the show is all about, what we do, and especially, okay, all right, retake. Hold on. What's too noisy? I'm back. Do not despair. All right, let's close the door there. Okay, again. Okay, in 3, in 2, in 1. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast that tunes tech into your way of life and lets the technology work for you. All right, again. I can, really do this intro in my sleep unless I think about it. And when I think about it, not good. Take 3. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, or Sun Solaris user, we have the tips and tricks you need to tune tech into your way of life and let that technology work for you. My name is Nightwise, and for the coming 60 minutes or so, I'll be your host on this episode of the Nightwise.com podcast, kw807 YouTube-DL. For more information and the show notes, head on over to Nightwise.com. That's KNIGHTWISE.com, where you'll find the links to everything we talk about and the Nightwise.com media feed. Subscribe to that feed and get all of the information, the links, and everything we talk about. Oh, no, come on. Get all the episodes. Oh, really? See, when I think about it, it's gone. Again, take 4. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, or Sun Solaris user, we have the stuff you need to tune tech into your way of life and let the technology work for you instead of the other way around. My name's Nightwise, and I'll be your host for the coming 60 minutes or so in this episode of the Nightwise.com podcast, kw807 YouTube-DL. For more information and the show notes, head on over to the website, www.nightwise.com. That's KNIGHTWISE.com, where you'll find the links and the explanations to everything we talk about. And you can go there for the Nightwise.com media feed. Subscribe to that feed and get all of the Nightwise.com episodes delivered to your favorite podcatcher automatically, letting technology work for you. Hey guys and girls, it's great to be back behind the microphone. It's Friday night. We are bunkered down here in the Knight's Castle, or in, I don't know what we could call it, Night Castle 1, or it's like Tracy Island, but not with giant thunderbirds or puppets or international rescue. But for the rest, yes, we are the den of a super organization of one. Hi, it's great to be back. As I said, today we have, again, a geeky show for you. Today we are going to dive into the command line, and we're going to talk about specifically one command line command. Now, I know we've gotten some feedback from the community saying, oh my God, Nightwise, not another show about Linux. We're a cross-platform setup. Well, you're right. So rest assured, it's not going to be a show about Linux. My voice is closing up when I just say it. Let me just drink a little. Sorry. This show is not going to... there you go. Damn it! It went so well. Again. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, or Sun Solaris user, we have the tips and tricks you need to tune tech into your way of life and let the technology work for you. Oh my god, my brain is dead. My brain is dead. Help. Take 5. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, really, Nightwise, a Linux? Oh God, this is going nowhere fast. Sorry, YouTubes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Welcome to Nightwise.com, the one and only podcast with hacks, tips, and tweaks for cross-platform geeks. Whether you're a Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, iOS, or Sun Solaris user, we have the tips and tricks you need to tune tech into your way of life. My name is Nightwise, and for the coming 60 minutes or so, I'll be your host on this episode of the Nightwise.com podcast, kw807, YouTube DL. For more information and the show notes, head on over to the website www.nightwise.com. That's KNIGHTWISE.com, where you'll find the links to everything we talk about and the Nightwise.com media feed. Subscribe to this feed and get all of the Nightwise.com podcasts delivered to your favorite podcatcher, automatically letting technology work for you. Hey guys and girls, it's been a while, actually a week, since I've been behind the microphone, and it is Friday evening. We are back. We are here in the studio actually recording this podcast and broadcasting it live on the interwebs. If you are subscribed to the show and only get the audio, and you are curious of what a recording actually looks like, please head on over to the website, www.nightwise.com, because thanks to the awesome powers of Gerard Molen, our resident webmaster, you can now also see the Nightwise.com Google Hangout recordings embedded right into the website. And you can follow along and see us make blunder after blunder and create enough bloopers to fill an entire hard drive, as the people who are who are listening and watching live probably know by now. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, it's going to be one of those geeky shows where I'm going to impart my wisdom on you regarding some mysterious command line command. Now, I know what you're going to say because I got some feedback from the community who had a slightly Macintosh bias, but she shall remain nameless. Saying, oh my god, not another Linux show, it's been so much Linux lately. And yes, you are right, we have touched on a lot of topics that touch the world of Linux, and this is a cross-platform show. So, said command we are going to talk about, we're not going to talk to the command, we're going to talk about the command. If we could talk to the command would be sentient, and if my name were John Connor, I'd be worried. So we're going to talk about the command. The command we're going to talk about is cross-platform friendly. That means it's available on Windows, on the Mac, and on Linux. So, come on, no bias here, okay? No Linux bias, no Mac bias, no Windows bias. Nice cross-platform, clean command line stuff. So, which is the command, of course, I hear you say. Now, it's all nice and dandy that you say you are going to talk about command lines. Which ones? Well, we are going to talk about a command that, and I put this in the show notes, excuse me for my language, is going to turn YouTube into your bitch. Yes, that's what we're going to do. We are going to talk about YouTube DL, a small but powerful command line command that will let you harness the power of YouTube as if it were your own private entertainment/television station. So, without further ado, you know what we are going to do. Pack up your steak knives, because we are going to dive into the meat of the matter. And that's how it's done. I got my volume up a little bit too high, I guess. I guess I should turn it down a little bit. Yep, it was up a little high. There we go. That's better. My mixer's under the table. I have a small office. I have 5 starships in my office. I don't have room for anything else. Right, let's save that. So I'll show you what it looks like. Let me see here if I can, there we go. Yep. So that's what the edit actually looks like. So what I do right now, I just save it as a raw command. So I go File, Export Selection, and it will now export the entire selection to my desktop. kw807. I hope I didn't say 708. P1. 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 And not as an MP3, but as a WAV, because I'm going to edit this. And there you go. Don't have to fill that in. And it's on my desktop. Quickly double check that it's actually there. Yep, there it is. Okay, right. Back to the live video feed. Right, come on. There you go. All right, time for part 2. Now, so this is the part where I'm going to really need my show notes, because this was pretty complicated stuff, and I had to really structure it to bring you a podcast that you could actually understand instead of mumbo jumbo that was just too hard to make sense of. So, part 1. So we did the intro. Now it's part 1 of the podcast. 3, 2, 1. Check my levels first. Okay, on the edge of real and cyberspace. Now a little bit low. A little bit higher. On the edge of real and cyberspace, there's one place you can go, and you found it. Okay. All right. Instead of watching my face all of the time, I'll let you watch the recording live. Okay. So I'll let you watch the Audacity feed. There you go. That's the Audacity feed. We press record. And this is parts that I cut out normally. So here we go. And just, to teach you a little bit about volume, I cannot go up right on top into 0, because then I'll overmodulate and it won't sound nice for the people who are listening to the podcast. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I've gotten the question many, many, many times. Oh, Nightwise, what is a good YouTube downloader? And you know what? That's a pretty hard question, because those are those little pesky programs that you need in a pinch, and it takes you forever to find a good one. Either it's paid software, either it doesn't work right, either it's crippled so that halfway through the video that you download you get an ad, either it's not available anymore, or there's malware in it, and if you start to Google for it, the results that you get are endless, and you still don't know which is a good YouTube download application. There are a lot of them out there, and some of them are pretty good, and some of them are pretty bad, and some of them do a lot, and some of them don't do enough. Because once you got the video that you downloaded from YouTube, you might also want to get the audio, and then you go look for applications that split audio from video, and that is another epic search in Google, trying to find something that works and works for you. Throughout the years, I have done many, many, many attempts at finding a great YouTube downloader, because, let's face it, YouTube is the cat's meow when it comes to video. I mean, not only user uploaded content, I mean, there are millions of cat videos out there, but also from, kind of like an ancient repository of things that you cannot find anymore. I mean, TV shows long gone, they're probably still on YouTube. Every single video clip ever broadcasted on MTV, yeah, they're probably still on YouTube. Want to see the original, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch videos to completely ruin your experience of going to see Transformers 4 and realizing that, yes, Mark Wahlberg is the Mark from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And if you're not at least 20 years old, you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So I challenge you to, download a YouTube video and send it to somebody who is about to go watch Transformers 4 and completely ruin their movie by sending them a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch video. Now, why should you do that? Because it's fun. How should you do that? Well, with a very simple command that is called YouTube-DL. And for the sake of argument, you type it YouTube-DL, but I am not going to repeat myself and say YouTube-DL over and over and over again. We'll just call it YouTube-DL, and you know that if you punch it into the command line, it shall be called YouTube-DL, otherwise it just won't work. Now, what is YouTube-DL? Or YouTube DL, depends on what you want to call it. YouTube-DL is an application, a command line application that allows you to download YouTube videos. Okay, it's simple. And you don't need a real application, but it will probably have half a gazillion switches and dash P and slash this in order to make it work. I hear you say, well, you're wrong. It's actually dead simple to use. That's why I like to use it. I don't like complicated command line commands. It's free. It's cross-platform. It's powerful. It doesn't come with spyware. There is no trial thingy that tells it to break after 30 days. It just works. And it is scriptable, which means that you can have it do things that you wanted to do when you wanted to do it to whatever you wanted to do. Now, that sounds very extract or kinky depending on where you're coming from, but it is actually a cool and awesome command. Now, in order to go towards YouTube-DL, well, what do you need? Well, the first thing you need is Google. You just go online and you start Googling the command, which is very simple, Google YouTube-DL. And behold, you shall find it. And you shall notice that it is truly cross-platform. It is available for both Windows, the Mac, and Linux. Now, for Windows, it's very easy. You can just download the executable and then run it from the command line. So YouTube-DL and then whatever you want to do. For Linux, it's easy. And if you have a Debian system like something like Ubuntu or Linux Mint or whatever derivative or elementary, I don't know, you can easily install it by typing sudo space apt-get space YouTube-DL. And if you're on a Mac, I can hear you saying, oh my God, now why is I'm on a Mac? What do I do? Don't panic. It's actually quite simple, because there is a cool application out there that lets you install Linux command line commands on your Mac. I should probably do an entire episode about this, but the application is called Homebrew. Google Homebrew, or of course look in the show notes. We'll have all the links in the show notes, and install it. It's a package and you can install it. And once you have, you can just go to the terminal and type brew space install space and then whatever YouTube command line command that you want to install. Now, just like in Linux or like in Ubuntu and in Mint, Homebrew goes to fetch its software from online repositories. So if it's in that repository, which is basically a big container of command line applications and commands, it will install it and it will work quite flawlessly on your Mac. So type brew space install space YouTube-DL and voila, you will have YouTube-DL installed on your Mac. So a great cross-platform command line application that you can install quite easily. Now, after you've installed it, there is only one thing that you should do, and you should make this a habit, because YouTube-DL is like a high-maintenance girlfriend. It needs to be updated and it needs to receive your attention from time to time. And that is because A, the people who build YouTube-DL make sure that there are regular updates out there, and that YouTube is a moving target. because sometimes things change and YouTube-DL has to adapt in order to do what it does. And what is it that it does, you say, Nightwise? Well, quite simple. It will download every YouTube video on the planet and then some. And it will also give you the ability to immediately extract the audio from that video. Now, I know what you're going to say, Nightwise, why should we want to do this? Well, I tell you, friends, what if you are a silent fan of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, but you cannot stand seeing Mark Wahlberg jumping around on screen with baggy trousers and 90s hair, because it will be one of the factors that will ruin Transformers 4 for you. So you can just skip the video and just extract the audio. So that is what YouTube-DL can do for you. How it works is something that we will talk about in the next pod. And there you go. Switch your bag. It's not going to be a big show today because it's basically one command. And you can go on and on and on about one command. But that's something that is a little bit redundant. And a short show is a good show as well. I don't know where I got the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch reference, but I am going on my 4th decennium, so I actually know who he is. And I was very shocked after I didn't make the link. I saw Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch as a kid, and I thought, what a douche. And then I saw Mark Wahlberg in these recent action movies, and went like, oh, he's cool. And then my wife said, well, yeah, he's Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, which was terrible. Okay, export this. This is part 2. Export selection. That is kw807 P2. All right, so here we go. Save. Voila. Drink a little bit. And a podcaster's trick is never, ever, ever start recording after you have drunken soda, because drunken soda, after drank soda, after I drank soda, you drank soda, yeah, okay, after you have drank soda is not to start recording right away, because there is a gaseous burp coming on. You just know it, and you just have to wait for it to come to be out of your system, because otherwise when you're recording you're trying to hold it back and it's really presses at your throat. It's not a lot of fun. You always hear it. Even if you try to hide it, it's like, yeah. Performing other bodily functions in public. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get into part 3. Where were we? How does it work? Now, this is nice. It can actually show you. All right. Now, I used to make the mistake of just record, but now I read ahead in my show notes, because I know what I'm going to talk about. I dredge up the show notes. I dredge them up as well, but I draft up the show notes sometimes a week ahead of the show. In this case, it was a week ahead of the show when I started to play around with YouTube-DL, and I thought like, wow, that's going to be a great show. So now I have to read through my own show notes again. I'll show them so that I know what crazy things that I wrote down. So we're over here. So we talked about what it does and how you can install it. Now I have to segment a little bit. So what can you really do with it? Then that's another part, and then we are going to give you the command line overview. So yeah, it's a pretty simple command. You can do a lot with it. Man, did I have fun with it? I used the powers of YouTube-DL to really dig up some of the TV shows that were never aired here and that are quite obscure, but also dig up some great material from videos that fans put up on the internet and on YouTube, which cannot be found anywhere else. Really nice stuff, but that's all for later. I've got to talk to you. I've got to tell you what it is. Okay, part 3. Perhaps I can try and show you. That'd be cool. Let me see here. Okay. Quickly going to get a YouTube video. All right, YouTube. What are we going to search for on YouTube? Just, yeah, see if I can show you my browser. Browser. Here we go. Okay. What are we going to look for? Of course, we are going to look for Marky. Not Marcy. Marky. Like that. Funky. I can't type bunch. Marky Mark Funky Bunch. Here you go. See, that's Wahlberg right over there. And here's Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Oh my God, that's so terrible. Oh my God, it's Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, okay, good. Because I need an example here. Close some other windows. There you go. This is so wrong. Okay. Here we go. Right. Okay, good. There we go. In 3, in 2, in 1. I know it sounds very exciting, and it probably is extremely complicated to handle a tool that probably will unlock the secrets of YouTube for you and make every cat video on the planet available for you, not only online but also offline for your hard drive to really use that 1 terabyte SSD connection to the SSD drive to actually own that video from Vanilla Ice singing Ice Ice Baby, or of course for prosperity's sake save all the One Direction video clips that have ever been made. Or perhaps you just want to do something useful with it, but how? Well, not hard actually. How does it work? Well, very simple. Go to the command line, type YouTube-DL and the URL of the YouTube video. So you go to YouTube, and for the people who are following along in the Google Hangout, I will actually show them. So if there is ever a reason you want to quickly take a look at the making of, I have actually opened up a video here, and that video is a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch video clip. So I'm going to copy the URL, just the address URL. So you go to YouTube, you look for Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations, and you copy the URL out of the address bar. Then you go to your command line window, and very easily on the command line, type in the command YouTube. Sorry, there we go. Type in the command YouTube-DL and then a space, and paste in the URL of the video. Now what YouTube-DL will do is download the entire video, at least if it wants to, because we're doing it live, it of course failed, but if you're not doing it live, it will of course work. This is very, very embarrassing. But what I was going to say is that the easiest way to use it is by just typing YouTube-DL and pasting the URL of the video that you want to download. Now, if you get an error message, there might be just one more thing that you need to do, because I talked about YouTube-DL being a little bit high maintenance. It does need to be updated from time to time. And the way you do that is very, very simple. You type YouTube-DL space, oh God, there goes my voice. Okay, this is actually a good thing, because I have no idea why the video wouldn't download. And it's always like that. If you want to do it on camera, it never works. Is this because it's a music video? Let's see, YouTube. I'm quickly gonna update my YouTube here. I'll show you so you can follow along. YouTube-dl/u. Oh yeah, sudo YouTube-dl-u. Normally I mumble my password when I enter it. There you go. See, YouTube-dl, and then try that again. Where's the Marky Mark video? Don't tell me it's copyright protected. That'd be a laugh. There you go. See, that works. And there it is. All right, so I'm going to go to a download directory and do it there. There we go. There you go. Oh, clear. All right. Right. Now I can show it again during the recording. Let's see. Here we go. Back to the screen, my friends. Back to the screen. There we go. 3, 2, 1. So, Nightwise, a command to download every single cat video on the planet must be something that is extremely complicated. And if I want to fill up that 1 terabyte hard drive with all the music videos of Milli Vanilli and of One Direction ever made, I do need something to do that with, and it has to be extremely complicated. Oh, help me, Nightwise, how hard is it to use YouTube DL? Well, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. All you need to do is, as I said in the previous part, YouTube DL is high maintenance, which means that you need to care for it, caress it, love it, and more importantly, update it. So how you update it is quite simple. You just type in sudo space YouTube-DL space capital U, and that's it. And YouTube-DL will then automatically update the latest version of itself, and you have the latest version at your fingertips. And this is actually quite important because YouTube-DL is a well-developed application that gets a lot of care by the people who build it, and they constantly make changes to it. And this is because the target of YouTube-DL, hence YouTube, is also a moving target. When they change things, YouTube DL needs to adapt, and you need to adapt by just doing a regular YouTube-DL space dash capital U in order for you to update it. Now, how do you use it? It's very, very simple. You just type in YouTube-DL, and then you paste the URL of the video that you want. So you go to YouTube, you enter Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch in the search field, and then it will take you to your favorite Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch video, which is probably, what is it? I actually opened it up here. My mouse pointer just gave up because it doesn't want to deal with Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Good Vibrations. If you ever want trauma, there, try that. You just Google Good Vibrations for Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and then you copy the URL out of the address bar. You go back to your command line window, and you type very simply YouTube-DL space, and you paste the URL of the video, and you hit enter, and it will download the video directly to your hard drive. So it's that simple. I have seen people trying to give presentations with an example or a great video they saw on YouTube. I have seen them go through horrible experiences where either the connection to YouTube didn't work and they couldn't do the video, or they didn't find the video on YouTube anymore, or the video was deleted on YouTube, or the internet went down, or halfway through it paused. So, it would be a lot better if you just had the video offline. So that's what YouTube-DL is good at. YouTube-DL space boom, the URL of the video that you want to own forever. If it's legal, I'm not sure, but you can own it. You can own it forever. So yeah, it's interesting, but why? Why would you want to do this except for owning Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, and their great album and video clip, Good Vibrations? There is a lot that you can do. You can download single YouTube videos like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and you can also strip the audio out of those videos. And that's a functionality we're going to go into a little bit later on because YouTube-DL has the ability to split the audio out of the video into whatever format that you want, either that be WAV file or MP3. And that way you can download music videos or whatever videos with audio in them that you think is interesting and just keep the audio. And YouTube is made up out of channels. Channels are collections of videos which you can follow. I mean, if you are interested in a certain topic, there are multiple videos out there. For example, there is the Nightwise.com YouTube channel on YouTube. That's why it's a YouTube channel. So you can go there, www.nightwise.com/YouTube, and you will find a feed of videos around Nightwise.com, the stuff that we make, and there are plenty of them out there. You can actually download those entire channels. So you can batch download with YouTube-DL an entire channel. So instead of downloading a single video or the audio out of a single video, you can also download an entire channel now. If that channel has 50 videos in it, you can just say, hey, YouTube-DL, give me that channel and download it immediately. That works quite well. You can also have the audio of all of the videos from that channel by using YouTube-DL. So it's more than just one video. Now, channels are made by channel producers. I have a YouTube channel. I choose what's in that channel. But there are also topics on YouTube, and topics are collections of videos around a certain topic. That's why they're called topics, put together and uploaded by different people. So for example, if you go look for, I don't know, TED Talks or Linux videos or Windows how-tos or screencasts or cat videos, there are great topics out there that you can look for. And these are collections of videos uploaded by multiple users around a certain subject. Yes, YouTube-DL will download entire topics for you as well. And you can search on YouTube. Of course, I searched for Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and I selected one video to download, but there are more videos that I can choose from. These are the search results about a certain topic. Now, I just wanted one video, but what if you want 10 of them or 20 of them? Well, YouTube-DL also supports downloading one or multiple videos out of a search query that you entered, all by pasting in the correct URL. That's the technical side of YouTube-DL, but what can you really do with it? What can you really use it for? Okay. This is the part where I really go into what you can do with YouTube-DL, and that's actually the lion part of the show, because you can go on technically about a command that is quite simple, and you cannot, which I absolutely hate when you do it in podcast, read out entire command line commands. I will probably talk about a few, but not a lot, because I don't want I don't want to bore the listeners into oblivion. So first, save this part. File, switch jar, export selection, kw807 part. Can you believe it that I have to think which part it was again? I think 3. Yeah, 3. Part 3. There we go. I've actually used YouTube DL to download the audio from some TV shows that I like and listen to it in the car. Like, for example, classic movies that you've watched 1,000 times. I'm nerdy. I like to sometimes strip the audio and just then listen to it in the car as if it were audio theater. So, for example, call me nerdy. I downloaded the audio from Star Wars, and I took it with me in the car, which was great because as I was driving, the audio was playing and the entire movie was playing in my head, which is really nerdy. But hey, we're cross-platform geeks. You will have to live with that. And by the way, being nerdy is cool. Being nerdy is very, very cool. All right. Here we go. What can you actually do with it? All right, part 4. 3, 2, 1. But Nightwise, what can you actually do with it? Well, I told you about what YouTube DL is and what it can actually handle: search results, channels, topics, individual videos, stripping out audio, being able to subscribe. I'll show you that later. So why would you want to do this? What can you do with all this power? Well, I'll give you some examples, and they might apply to you, they might not. But this is the great thing about technology is we can each find the parts we need and we can use out of all of the possibilities that such technology gives us. YouTube is, to me, an absolute treasure trove of information. I mean, everything is on there. Every music video ever made. There is fantastic user-generated content on there. There are hilarious fail videos on there. There's a lot of crap out there, but there are some brilliant, brilliant things that are available only on YouTube. We sometimes forget how powerful YouTube is. YouTube gives us the ability, and we tend to forget that, but up to a couple of years ago, it was impossible to sit in front of a computer, record a video, and be able to share that with the world. Being able to create a piece of content that would go viral and go around the world and be watched by millions and millions and millions of people. We sometimes forget that a video like Gundam Style has had more viewers than, major TV channels, major TV broadcasting networks could only dream of having, 500 million or 1 billion people watching one video clip. The impact and the reach of YouTube is enormous. This also means that everything that can be filmed and can be uploaded will be uploaded. There is so much on there. It is a digital archive of brilliant user-created data, and it is a digital treasure trove of things that once have been digitized by somebody on this planet and that have been stored on YouTube forever. The first episode of Doctor Who, probably not legal, I don't care, it's still up there, but you can watch it. An old digitization of a Transformer cartoon from the 1980s, it's up there. You want to watch, a newsreel from 1983, it's still up there. It's not like television where you have to wait until they broadcast it to you. You can actually choose what you want to see, but you can also contribute to that library extremely easily. And we sometimes forget how awesome that is. I flick on my camera and I record this session. This session is going up on YouTube, where it will stay forever, hopefully, and where it is accessible to everybody in the world. And all that I need is my laptop. And hell, if you have a smartphone, you can do it. So we tend to forget that. And because of that awesome power, there is also some awesome content on there. So there is so much more than just cat videos. And if you take the time to start looking around, you'll be entertained for hours. So it is YouTube, it is streaming, and that means that you don't always have it handy, and sometimes you just want to have it on your hard drive. And that's why we are talking about YouTube DL. Yes, you can stream it whenever you want to. It probably won't go away unless the user decides to take it down or there is some kind of court order. And if you really want to be sure and really want to keep it in your collection, that's what YouTube DL is all about. So it will help you to download individual videos. So it is the best and simplest YouTube downloader there is. It will download search result around a certain topic. It will download the entire topic. It will download entire playlists. That means that you can subscribe to shows, to speeches, to concerts, to artists. It's all on there, whatever you want to do. It's not like peer-to-peer downloading. It's not like online trying to buy stuff with DRM. It's just there. And if you have one single small command, it can be all yours. So that is something to pause and think about, and then you'll see what you can use it for. So why not go and download your favorite artists? I know they might not be on YouTube legally, but they might be, because for me, I love me some trance and some progressive and some ambience, and there are a lot of record labels who have a YouTube channel where they post their newest tracks and videos. So if I can watch them, I just might want to have the audio to, play on my phone when I'm, out and about in the garden and I cannot stream from YouTube. Well, YouTube DL to the rescue, and I can just listen to that music whenever I want to. You can download not only one single video from that record label or that artist, but the entire collection by just looking for the topic or subscribing to the channel and downloading not only the new stuff, but also the old stuff. I didn't mention it before, but you can also subscribe to a channel where you tell YouTube DL to download just the latest episode in such a channel. Like, for example, if you were to subscribe to our YouTube channel with YouTube DL and you would run the command regularly, you could tell YouTube, hey, YouTube DL, go to that channel and download me the latest video. I don't know the URL of the video, but just go to the channel of nightwise.com and get me one latest, the one latest episode, or the two latest episodes. And YouTube DL will actually do that for you. You can not only subscribe to a channel, and this is for the stalkers among you, you can even subscribe to the search results. What if you could tell YouTube DL to regularly query YouTube with a search query, for example, for your favorite artist or for what have you, and download the latest, the newest search results that come up. So, for example, you are really into something, I don't know, Star Trek animated series fanfic created, or I have no idea. You can tell YouTube DL to enter that search string and download whatever is new. If there are any new videos to that search string, download me the latest ones. And that way you can really, keep tabs on your favorite search queries. So you can either use the mass download option there, where, as I said, you can tell YouTube DL to download like 50 or 100 videos, or the subscribe option, where you tell YouTube DL to just download the latest 2 or 3 videos. So that's very important when you go for channels, for topics, and for search results. Now, what I've found to be extremely useful is I went looking on YouTube for TED Talks around children and technology and how our culture is changing. So I just queried TED Talks Tech Children. And I got a bunch of search results, and I just said to YouTube DL, you know what? Get them all. Just the audio, please, but get them all, because I want the collection, and I want to be able to listen to that collection offline. So I told YouTube DL to get me the latest 20 entries to a search query, and please strip out the audio. You can download old TV shows. I love looking for stuff that is nowhere to be found or almost nowhere to be found. For example, I recently found a documentary on Blake's 7, which is a sci-fi series from the 80s, from the BBC, late 70s, beginning 80s. This documentary, this 3-hour documentary, was never aired and never brought out on DVD, and I was so incredibly happy that I got to watch it, but I also wanted to keep it. So I just downloaded it, and you can find a lot of TV shows on YouTube, and just download the seasons and keep them. Sometimes this might be illegal, sometimes because they're just not available to download legally, or to buy, or to get on DVD, or to buy online. It's the only alternative. It is forgotten stuff. I mean, there are videos out there of Atari games, people playing Atari games, going through entire levels, and you can watch it, and you can download it, and you can own it if you wanted to. So yeah, you can download all the fan-generated content around something that's interesting you. You can download, a lot of 80s videos, music videos, and turn your TV into MTV by playing those videos back to back and having a really retro experience. What is also very interesting is there is a lot of material on YouTube that is great for kids. And especially with the holidays coming on, YouTube DL might just be your ticket to a smooth car ride when you go abroad and you have the kids in the car. So why not download a lot of YouTube videos that they find interesting, make sure that you have them on offline, put them on their tablet, or on their netbook or their notebook, so they can watch that content offline. It's always nice to bring along DVDs that they probably saw 1,000 times. Why not download something fresh, and with YouTube DL, have it offline to make sure that they are nice, quiet, and entertained while they're in the car, and you have completely lost your way in the middle of the center of the city of Lyon, because you didn't want to learn or didn't want to listen to neither your better half nor your GPS. I can vouch for that. It happens. So you can also download Google Hangouts. I don't know if you want to own this Google Hangout for prosperity, and you want to say, I've got a video from back in the days when Nightwise was still incredibly handsome. You can. And you can also just download the entire channel if you want to. So why not go a little bit further? Because right up to now, you've made a selection by letting YouTube do the selection. You can just search for something and tell YouTube DL to download the entire topic or search results. The great thing about downloading search results is that sometimes you find things that YouTube suggests to you and you never thought you would look for yourself. So you can have YouTube DL download all of that and kind of have a surprise when you get home. So for example, you just enter I don't know, bunnies with machine guns into YouTube, and you tell YouTube DL, by the way, give me the latest 20 videos. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll see. And let YouTube surprise you. There is, of course, the audio extract option, which I talked about. I'll tell you all the switches and how to do it a little bit later on. And that is great for not only ripping the music out of music videos, but also ripping the audio out of video podcasts. So if, for example, you really want the raw recording of this podcast, you can just rip out the audio and have it at your fingertips should you need it. And then there's one very nice option that that YouTube DL also does, and that is the ability to download your watch it later videos. YouTube has an option when you log in that you can tag a certain video with it's a button or something that you press on the window, and it tags it for watch it later. It will then queue that video in a special playlist when you want to go back to YouTube and watch that. YouTube DL understands watch it later. So you can tell YouTube DL, hey, YouTube DL, here's my login, here's my password, and download, please, all the videos that I have tagged as watch later, and download them offline to whatever directory I have so I can watch them when I get home. Now, we always say, yes, we stream and we're always connected, but some people are in the train, or some people are in places where they don't have the broadband connection to watch YouTube in a good way, without the stuttering and stuff. And especially with net neutrality going down the the excretion orifice. Yeah, is that a word? Yeah, is it better word than down a shithole? Okay. And, going south, it might be interesting to download your YouTube videos and watch them in the train or on your mobile, even if you don't have any good connections. So why not download your watch it later lists using YouTube DL? So if you have a media server in your house, you can tie those together. What I've done is I've triggered YouTube DL to download all of my watch it later videos, and it puts them on my hard drive. My media center, which is in my case Plex, picks up that directory and makes those videos available for me throughout the house. Now, I could stream them directly off of YouTube, but some of them I want to keep. But it's just an example of what you can do with it, because those videos that you downloaded with YouTube DL, you can punch them straight into your media center and have that play it on whatever you want to play it. If you don't have a smart TV and you only have a NAS drive or some kind of device that plays video files, and you still want to play YouTube videos on your TV, why not download them, punch them over to your media player or set-top box of choice, and have it just play the raw videos? No problem whatsoever. So there are a lot of examples of what you can do with YouTube DL, because it's such a great command, and using a couple of simple switches like downloading individual videos, extracting the audio, subscribing to search feeds, subscribing to channels, subscribing to topics, batch downloading entire collections, or just subscribing to the latest episode, and being able to follow your watch it later feed. That's, it's just awesome power. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. With a couple of well thought of combinations, you can do quite a lot. In the next part, I'm going to go through a couple of YouTube commands. Now, I won't be doing all the spelling out of all the commands. If you want to, you can just go to the website. We will copy and paste our entire YouTube suggestion list there of which commands you can use to do what and how you can paste them together. But I will just quickly go through to them, and then I'll show you the power of what happens when you type YouTube into cron, hence scheduling your YouTube command, and what that can do for you. All right, that went pretty well. Okay, but it is true. I mean, I was thinking about, how am I going to do this podcast, and how am I going to tell people what they can do with it? And it's a journey. You have to find it out, but it's an exciting journey, which will probably cost you quite a bit of bandwidth, because I played around with it and I went like, oh my god, that's a great collection, give me 50 videos of that, and oh my god, that's a great audio collection, I want the audio of that. And as I was going through the possibilities of YouTube DL and implementing them in YouTube gave me, such a list of extremely interesting videos and content that it was just like a sinkhole where I went through and then went deeper and deeper and deeper. And with that simple command, I've managed to blow half of my data cap this month. But I do have an awesome collection of videos that I would have probably never found anywhere else. Okay, final part. Did I save this? No, I didn't. Okay, let me just extract. That's very important that we do that. Part 3. Let me see. Quickly listen here. Okay, that is part 4 that we have to extract here. File, export selection, kw807 underscore p4. There you go. And now it's part 5, and then we're done. I've segmented the show into multiple parts because otherwise, when you go on to technical content, it's quite hard to keep track. And especially when you're presenting it, it's when you're doing a 20-minute segment, it's like, did I talk about that or didn't I? Let me see my show notes. I'm not really sure. So I really cut them up into little pieces and have the jingles in between. If you haven't listened to an edited down version of the show, you should. You might like it because we cleaned this up. Good. combining it with cron, a command line overview. That was going to be first. So this, there you go. Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I told you YouTube DL is not hard, and that is why I'm going to very briefly touch on the command and the command syntaxes and how you can use them. This might sound boring if you don't use it, so be warned. So, first of all, first command that you do when you've installed YouTube and when you're going to use YouTube is the command to update YouTube. So sudo space YouTube-DL space capital U, enter. That will update YouTube to the latest version. Most basic use of YouTube, download a video. Go to YouTube, find Marky Mark the Funky Bunch, copy the URL. Go to the command line command, type in YouTube-DL space and paste the URL of the video. That's it. If you want to have only the audio of said video, you can do that. YouTube-DL space --extract -audio space -audio -format space MP3 space and the URL of the video. So what this means is YouTube DL --extract audio. I would like the audio, please. -audio -format. I would like it in a certain format, please. Space MP3, please, in an MP3. And this is the video that I want. YouTube search results. So you can tell YouTube to search a certain topic without even visiting YouTube. YouTube-DL space YT search quotation mark the search string. Let's for example say TED Talks computers, end quote, space --playlist -end space 20. What you say is, dear YouTube DL, please use the switch YT search, which is YouTube search, for this search query and take the playlist and give me the 20 latest episodes. If you want to do it with a channel or a topic, you just go to YouTube, you hit a channel or a topic, you copy the URL that shows you the entire channel and the entire topic, and you go back to the command line, and you say YouTube-DL, then you paste the URL of the channel or the topic, space --playlist -end space 50 or 20 or 10, whatever amount of videos you want to download in one batch. So what you say to YouTube DL is, dear YouTube DL, here is the URL of the channel that I want to subscribe to. Please download 50 episodes from that playlist. And then there is the watch later queue. That is to download your videos that were marked as watched later, but this means that YouTube DL is going to have to tell YouTube who you are. So YouTube-DL, sorry, space -u space your Google username, so hupsaflups@gmail.com, space -p space your password space YT watch later, and that will download your watch later queue. There are some extra commands that you can slide in, like for example to make it pretty and to download the videos to a certain directory, or to just download one episode from a certain playlist. So I'll put those in the show notes, but what I do want to tell you is we talked about downloading a channel or downloading search results, and it had the command --playlist -end and then a number. So if you enter 1 after playlist -end, it will download the latest episode. So as many times as you run that, it will always download either the latest episode if the number is 1, or whatever amount of episodes that you want to download when you set a higher number there. Now, why is this so important, this playlist and 1? Well, quite frankly, you can schedule it. You can go to cron. If you use Linux, it's pretty easy. You just type cron tab -e, and you will have your cron tab open. Or you can even paste the command into a script and run that script at a certain time. And if you say a certain search result or a certain channel or a certain topic, and you just want to have one latest episode of that, the command is pretty easy. Let's say, for example, the channel of your favorite artist, that would be YouTube-DL space the URL of the channel of your favorite artist or topic space -- playlist -end 1. And just run this command every, 3 days or every day, and it will always go to that channel, check what the latest episode is, and only download the latest episode. So combining this command line command with this playlist option and the ability to run it on a schedule will give you, awesome under the hood power. The examples where I use it from, this might be a little bit advanced, but I have set it in I have set it up to do this. I have, for example, set up the command to always download the latest episode of my Nightwise.com channel, because I would like to have, for prosperity's sake, my Google Hangouts saved to my drive, because I love to create archives of the content that I create. So YouTube DL does that for me automatically. It's Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, I've got it triggered. It will run the command and download the latest episode and put it on my hard drive. The watch it later command, same thing. I have told YouTube.dl to run every 3 days and download whatever videos that I've tagged as watch it later. So that is the power of the YouTube command and cron, YouTube DL command and cron, or a script or scheduling. Don't worry if you didn't write down all the commands. They will be in the show notes on the website, especially this time because it's so heavy and technical. But believe me, once you've got once you've gotten the hang of the vocabulary of, this is the command, this is the URL, and this is the special function that I want, the combinations that you can make are so awesome, and especially when you combine them with the content that is online, because YouTube-DL might be called YouTube-DL, but it supports a lot more. There is a list of, I think, about 100 sites, and I'm just going to name a few: CNET, CNN, CNN Blogs, Break, Blip TV, Blinks, BBC.co.uk, the BBC iPlayer, let me see, 9gag, Discovery, Facebook, Flickr, let me see here, have to be decent, it has to be something decent, Instagram users, Khan Academy, Kickstarter, LiveLeak, Livestream, MetaCafe, Mixloud, a lot of porn sites, quite a lot of porn sites, more porn sites, some porn sites, Photo Bucket, thank God, Google Plus, more porn sites, more porn sites, SlideShare, that's also a porn site, SoundCloud, Space, the Space Channel, thank God, Steam, the Tagesschau, Deutsche Wehrmacht, not Deutsche Wehrmacht, Deutsche Neues, German News Channel, whatever, TED, Tech TV, Tech Talks, Tumblr, Ustream, Vidler, Vimeo channels, Vimeo albums, Vimeo groups, certain Vimeo users, Vine, more porn sites, and of course the ZDF, which is the German TV show, German TV channel. So those are all sites that are supported by YouTube-DL and that can do the same thing that we just talked about, that what it can do with YouTube. So just imagine, I just gave you YouTube, the best cat videos in the world, the best fail videos in the world, and Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. But I also gave you an awesome list, or just a part of an awesome list of other sites that YouTube DL can handle. So if you ever thought, yeah, it's on YouTube, it'll always be there, there might be other sites that have videos that will go away. So you might want to grab that one. And the list, I'll put that in the show notes, is awesome, is long, and contains a lot of porn sites. I'm sorry for that, but hey, I didn't write it, and apparently people get, a lot of good stuff out of that. So whatever. That being said, that is the awesome power of YouTube-DL. If you haven't typed it into the command line yet, you got to be rushing. You have to be in your car rushing home just to try this out, and go for Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch and his album Good Vibrations. Okay, that's the final part. Now we round up. I mustn't forget, I have a user contributed video that I have to put in, because otherwise he's gonna kill me. All right, wait, let me save this, export selection. Conrad, I'm gonna play your audio clip that you sent in today, because if I don't, you have reasons to kill me. kw807 P5. Okay. Podcast. Nope. Small memory cards. Before we close off the show, we have one more awesome user-generated content of our own. We have another great tip from our good friend Conrad, the photographer, who is currently residing in Memphis, Tennessee, and who's going to tell us how to deal with photography on small memory cards. Okay, and there I slide in Conrad's thing. Yeah, live viewers, that's something you'll only be hearing in the in the edited down version of the podcast. kw807 P6. Yep. And here comes the piece of audio that Conrad sent in. And now to close off. Closing off is something that doesn't sound as great as it does in the live podcast, because this is just a dry recording that you hear. But in the live, in the edited version, you'll hear a nice track on the background. I have gotten questions from the audience. What track is it? Who made it? And why does it make us feel sad? And there are a couple of users who said, whenever I hear the closing track, it makes me feel sad, because either it's a sad song or it makes me, feel that, the show's over, which is a compliment to both me and the artist who did this song. If you want to hear the song, I'm going to once again point you towards the recorded episode, but I am going to say that the song is called Sisumis by Planet Bulex. And support the artist, go over to his website, buy his music. And if you don't want to do that, or you don't have the money, just go on YouTube and look for him. I'm not going to tell you that you should download his music. You should support him because he makes great stuff. But you'll find his stuff there, amazingly. So, that being said, time for the last part. And that's all we have time for this week on the Nightwise.com podcast. YouTube-DL, what a great command, and what a great way to download every single Cat and Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch video ever to be placed onto the World Wide Web. If there should be an outage of your internet, or if you are going on a holiday and want to have some videos to watch in your tent, this is going to be the way that you will be able to survive. YouTube-DL and the URL of whatever video you want to own and keep forever and ever and ever. That's all we have time for this week on the Nightwise.com podcast. If you have been following us on the interwebs, we are available on Google+. We have a great community there, www.nightwise.com/Google+, for all the hardcore cross-platform geeks who hang out there and exchange tips. But you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Nightwise.com/Twitter for our Twitter channel, nightwise.com/Facebook for our Facebook group. We have got a nice social media campaign running this week. You will get interesting links and links to the podcast and, of course, the Nightwise.com weekly challenges. Use the hashtag KWChallenge, that is KWChallenge, to tell us what your cross-platform workstation looks like. Snap a picture of it, post it on the YouTubes, not the YouTubes, the Twitters, and use the hashtag KWChallenge, and you can, brag with your friends. And we will talk about the best entries in the upcoming show. We also have a question for you. You can also reply on Twitter, and that question is going to be, what's going to be the next piece of hardware or geeky gadgetry that you're going to buy? Hashtag KW question of the week. So a lot of stuff going on the social webs. If you haven't done so, go over there and follow us or join the Facebook group or dive into the Google Plus community that we have. But the most important part, if you haven't done so yet, is to subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. If you have already subscribed, all we ask is go over to one geeky friend that you think would benefit with some hacks, tips, and tweaks for his cross-platform geekiness, and bring him along. All we need from you, we don't need money, we don't do ads, we don't do annoying things and try to sell you, I don't know what, steak knives or whatever. We just ask you that if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. Nightwise.com/subscribe. And if you have, ask a friend to subscribe as well. Bring him into the fold of the cross-platform geeks and teach him or her how to let technology work for him or for her. That's it. I will be back next week with another episode of the Nightwise.com podcast. Until then, as we say here in El Castle del Nightwise, let technology work for you instead of the other way around. And we'll see you guys and girls next week. This is Nightwise signing off. Goodbye. And that is how it's done. Okay. Here we go. File. Export. kw807 part 7. There we go. And now tomorrow I paste all of this together in a nice sequence. I might do I just might do a Google Hangout for once to show you guys how it's done. It's not really exciting, but I have had people who asked me to do the post-processing part on Google Hangout as well. Well, that's all we have time for this week on Nightwise.com. I'm going to be going and enjoying my weekend and editing this show, which will be live soon. Great of you to join us if you are on YouTube. I hope we have just given you a powerful tool to own whatever you want to watch and be able to really let that technology work for you. I'm going to go. See you guys and girls on the flip side. Until then, let technology work for you instead of the other way around. Bye.